You're watching The Business of Law, brought to you by Bloomberg Law and the ABA Journal. I'm Pacchia. Wells Fargo is putting out a report on Friday on the state of big law, and it looks like 2013 means more tough going for large law firms. Joining me now to go over the results, we have Jeff Grossman, Senior Director at Wells Fargo Private Bank. Welcome. Thanks for stopping by today.
Thanks, Lee.
So you took 6 months looking at over 120 law firms, about half of which are Am Law 100s, and you looked at growth in gross revenue. The average came in at 1.5% growth compared to the same period last year. Now, this isn't a negative number, but I would expect people were hoping for something a little bit more robust. What do you make of this?
That's right. It was 1.5% growth because there was an acceleration of work and activity and collections into 2012. So the 2013 first quarter was light as a result of that. As a result, the 6 months appeared to be softer than one would hope.
Yeah, it's an anemic number, to be sure. Do you expect it to carry through the end of the year?
It's a little too early to tell, but the early signs based on inventory and collections to date suggest that the year will look very much like the first half of the year.
Your report also said that demand remained under pressure. How do you quantify demand for a report like this?
We quantify demand as total hours logged, so the total hours either at the attorney level or all timekeepers. So in effect, what's manufactured by the law firms.
So where do you see the demand for legal services at present? I mean, is this the worst it's been in the Great Legal Recession, or
actually 2008 would have had a greater decline in terms of the level of demand. We have seen a 2% decline in the level of demand in terms of total attorney hours through the 6 months.
Next, we have productivity. Not exactly good news either. What happened there?
Productivity was affected by two things. One, as I mentioned, the acceleration of work activity into 2012, putting pressure on the total number of hours, and at the same time, law firm headcount being up by about 1.5% for the same period of time. So do the math, productivity unfortunately was down.
There was a bright spot. Rates are increasing, up around 3.5%. Why do you suppose that is? That seems almost out of sorts in a world where we're seeing decreasing demand.
Yeah, I believe there are three things that are affecting the rate increases. One, many law firms had been under contract or under rate freezes or slow rate growth for several years since the downturn in 2008. Secondly, the mix has continued to change where law firms have become more senior in terms of the attorneys that comprise the law firm, and that's driven rates up.
We've been talking a lot on this program about how large law firms are meeting their challenges by taking a look at their various levels of partners. What did you find happening in this space? When you go out there and you talk to the law firms, what's the general sense as to what needs to happen with that class of asset?
We have seen first law firms attack compensation expenses at the associate level and other timekeeper levels. And with productivity still being under pressure, the last place to look are at the partner level. So what we are seeing is everything from partner counseling, meaning asking partners to leave the law firm, to looking at other ways to grow the demand, whether it be through lateral hirings and what have you, in order to grow the partner productivity.
This has been an awfully tough space for people running large law firms for a couple years now. Looking out over the long-term basis, do you see things getting easier anytime in the next, say, 5 years? We
believe that the demand for legal services is going to stay somewhere in the range of where it is today. Our economist has actually called it Goldilocks, not too fast, not too slow in terms of looking at demand for legal services. So we expect to see a 1 to 2% growth rate over the next 2 or 3 years.
And then going out longer term, is that expected to increase, or is this the new normal that we're facing?
Hard to tell, but I would manage to the new normal as you described it.
Jeff, really interesting stuff. Great report. Thanks for stopping by. That's Jeff Grossman, Senior Director at Wells Fargo Private Bank. If you'd like to learn more about the issues we just discussed, be sure to go check out our offerings on BloombergLaw.com and also on the Bloomberg Terminal. You can see more of our updates on Twitter, and you can see more of our videos on YouTube. I'm Pacchia. Thanks for watching.